Well, the annual legislative session in Annapolis is in full swing, and as usual, our legislators are hard at work producing bills for the legislature's consideration. Let's take a look at some of the active legislation and see what we think of it. Let's first look at the sick leave bill, which, by the way, the Chamber of Commerce had a very interesting program on this week. Ken, what do you think about sick leave?
Well, once again, I think we're using a stick when we should be using a carrot. Okay, we're going to mandate that businesses provide their employees sick leave, paid sick leave. Okay, now something important to note here: Family Medical Leave Act already mandates that employees have to have unpaid sick leave, which employers or the employee can substitute paid leave for at their discretion. Now, my thoughts are, why not, instead of saying you must do this, all right, instead, let's say, hey, we've got, we want to encourage all the employers in the state to provide paid sick leave. Let's say, okay, if you provide paid sick leave to your employees, we'll give you a discount on your unemployment insurance costs because, healthier employees are probably going to be staying with the company longer.
What are your thoughts, Brittany?
And just to add on to that, healthier employees are more productive in general. I think there has to be more conversation about it before we can really pass any kind of legislation. There has to be some sort of a balance, but I don't think that government mandates should automatically be thrown away simply because people are afraid it's going to interfere with the enterprise. I think with the issues with Chipotle lately, the number of people that were sick as a result of the restaurant, it was because the employees had norovirus and they were too afraid to call off for work.
Right, and I've been there before. Okay, I've been at a point where I have to make a choice between, do I go to work or do I stay home because I'm sick? And, now I'm fortunate enough in that I have a job where I get paid sick leave, okay? That is one of the reasons why I am at my job, is because I have paid sick leave, okay? So, it really becomes a matter of, showing employers the value in offering paid sick leave versus telling them, you shall do this, okay? If you come to me and say, hey, I want to show you the value in doing this, and oh, hey, I'll give you a discount on your unemployment tax or whatever, if you implement this, I'm going to be a lot more receptive to that than if you come to me and say, you have to do this or, we're going to fine you. I'm going to be a lot more receptive to it.
And I think that's fair enough. I think that's a very fair assessment of what a lot of businesses across the nation are starting to have in mind.
But at the end of the day, do you think this is a law that is important, or do you think this is a law that is really overreaching?
No, I absolutely think it's important. I think, like I said, any employee that is healthy will be more productive. Right. I think it's the company's responsibility to see that their employees aren't working themselves to death because they're too afraid to take off work when they have pneumonia or something like that. And I think with Chipotle, they learned that in instances where there's a virus or some kind of infectious disease, that they have to really be responsible.
So the Family Medical Leave Act assures us that we can take off sick and without penalty from our employers up to 12 weeks, I believe. Is that right?
I think that's right.
12 weeks. So the paid versus unpaid part is really the point that's at issue here. This is going to cost a lot of money for small business. This is not something they're implementing for companies that are 50 or 100 people or above. This is 10 people or above, and that 11th person is going to cost you $10,000 or more in benefit cost. As a small business, how would you deal with that?
It's very tough. I mean, I think
I'd
what
keep
you
it under
said.
10 people.
Keep it under 10 people, exactly.
Not to mention the fact that we're going to increase reporting that you have to do to the state.
And that's a lot of work.
And
that's a lot of work.
Overhead.
That is administrative overhead. You said keeping healthy employees is an important thing for business. Well, I think the most important thing for business is making a profit.
Well,
No.
or at least staying in business.
No?
Well, no, from a business standpoint, yes. But if you tell that to your employees, that's just going to destroy the business from the inside out. I think there has to be more discussion between.
Well, I mean, at the same time, creating a mandate that you have to offer paid leave, if that's going to make it to the point that a business, can't stay profitable now, then those employees aren't going to have jobs at all.
Right.
That's true.
And if there are 3 companies doing essentially the same thing that someone could go to work for, and one offers paid sick leave and another doesn't,
I'm
like
going to go
Ken,
to the company that says paid
so
sick leave.
doesn't the demand of the employees drive that? And again, I realize when you have the unemployment levels that we've had in the last several years, that may not be the case. But when we're looking at full employment, aren't employees going to be able to demand? It's the same thing in my mind with minimum wage. If we're at full employment, you don't have to worry about minimum wage because the employers will be paying more to get the employees that they want.
Let the market decide.
Absolutely. What's wrong with my theory?
If back, not the minimum wage aspect, but if other countries are able to make it work, I don't see why America can't make it work. Maybe we should start looking at other legislation in foreign countries that are using it and try to see how we can work with the smaller businesses. Because I do agree that if it's a small business, they're not going to be able to make the profit if they're spending so much in paid sick leave. But I just don't think it's responsible from a business standpoint to not offer that to their employees.
All right.
Something has to give.
Well, we had hoped to get more information about other legislation in, but we have used up all of our time. So stay tuned. Last call is next. We'll be back in 3 minutes.